is Cozen O'Connor Public Strategies, a national firm, and here we are in your beautiful New York office.
What makes us special is that we have a full-service public affairs group located in multiple cities across the United States. We're here in New York, we're in Washington, we're in Philadelphia, we're in Chicago, Richmond, Minneapolis, and we work very cohesively as a group to represent our clients across jurisdictions. We find there are common threads that we can pick up, makes us smarter, quicker, and better at serving our clients.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what we're going to see today with your New York clients.
Okay, so one of the best things about our practice is that we've got this really diverse group of lobbyists and we have all kinds of clients. And so today we're going to give you a taste of what our lobbyists do every day and get to showcase some of our clients and the amazing services they're offering to New York.
We're really proud to be the longtime government relations consultants for the BID Association, which is the association of all 76 business improvement districts in the city. BIDs are really the unsung heroes in the city behind a lot of the streetscape improvements you see, behind supporting small businesses, street fairs, open streets, a lot of things New Yorkers know and love but might not know who's behind them, and oftentimes it's BIDs.
It's beautiful here, right? The wind is blowing, there's trees all around us. You wouldn't know that there's traffic backed up right behind us. So this is what we love to do, is create public spaces in unexpected locations because people will use it and we need it, and that's what makes cities wonderful.
So the Hudson Square BID has done a ton of improvements to this neighborhood. You see all these planters, bioswales, new benches. These are major improvements for workers and residents alike. It's a beautiful day here in the Hudson Square BID.
It's a beautiful day to be featured on a Link NYC screen.
That's right. This is another one of our clients, City Bridge and the Link NYC program. You've probably seen these iconic structures all over the city. It's actually part of the largest free public Wi-Fi program in the world. In the world, serving millions of New Yorkers and tourists every day with free public Wi-Fi, free nationwide calling, access to 911, tablets, and advertising for local businesses and artists.
Now we're at the beautiful Whitney Museum, another Cozen client, and we're going to hear how a lobbyist can help a museum.
At the Whitney, we believe that art doesn't exist for art's sake. What we do exists in the context of the communities, and what Rose does is connect the work we do with the communities, with the stakeholders, with public officials, making sure that we're doing really what's best for our communities and what's best for the priorities of New York City.
Can you give us an example of something the two of you worked on together?
One that comes to mind right away, of course, is the amazing public sculpture Day's End by the artist David Hammonds, who's one of the most important artists of our time, American artists of our time. And it's this amazing sort of monument to what once was on our waterfronts. The waterfront of New York City used to be a vibrant place with all kinds of culture. And the artist David Hammonds is celebrating that.
It's really one of my most favorite projects that we've done together with the museum because it married both funding advocacy. We received millions of dollars from the city of New York to be able to make this happen, which was wonderful. And then of course, incredible private fundraising from the Whitney Museum to realize it, but also really complex legislative issues. We had to have an amendment to the Hudson River Park Trust Act in order to be able to have it installed. And these are the kind of like wonky issues that we love to get into with our clients and really be able to make these magnificent projects that are only possible in New York happen.
What's it like approaching an international iconic brand and telling them the important policies hyper-locally in New York City and how you can help them?
McDonald's is a very sophisticated company. Of course, it has to be. It does businesses across the country and across the world. So our job is to be their eyes and ears here on the ground, to lay out the legislative landscape and to give them good solid information so that they can be prepared for what might be coming up on the horizon. I think that the companies that we work with are, they're doing business in a very polarized environment across the country, and they need to be sensitive to these competing demands. You know, there are, for example, in our state, there's a consensus that there are certain DEI policies that should be mandatory. In other states across the country, those policies are anathema. And so they need help navigating a savvy way of addressing these competing demands. And so what we're able to do is find where the common ground lies.
I'm Greg Sutton. I'm the Managing Director of Access Services here at M&N on 38th. This is M&N's Hudson Yards facility. Right here we're in the hub. It's a great space for receptions. Our open edit stations are right here for our community to use. We can edit on Premiere and DaVinci. Everything for the community. It's a way for community to get their messages out and their thoughts out to say the things that they want to say.
Okay, we're here in the studios at Manhattan Neighborhood Network, a public access television station. What goes on here?
A lot. We give voices to the voiceless. Everything that the people need in New York City, really serving the people.
Manhattan Neighborhood Network is the premier public access center in the country. It is probably the largest or second largest producer of independent programming in the country. And it's been over 30 continuous years of representation. And they're one of my not only oldest clients, but really one of my favorite ones.
Here we are at Studio 54, owned by Roundabout Theater, where, Cottrell, I understand you're working on securing some capital funding. What does that look like?
What we are doing is meeting with state legislators to secure some needed funding. Right now there's an amazing dome, which is the roof of the studio, and if that caves in, then we don't know what happens to the studio. So a lot of state legislators are coming together, this local senator and local assembly member, to secure needed capital funding.
We toured all kinds of your clients today, from nonprofit organizations to large corporations to small community organizations. Now we're at a New York City theater, and Nathan, we're going to learn how a lobbyist helps this type of organization.
Well, aside from budgetary concerns, there's also many different government relations things we do for them to just try to smooth the way for all their programming. Let's go inside and see. This is a historic building at Central Park, and it's been around a long time, and it's in dire need of renovation. And fortunately, you think about infrastructure, you think about large projects, roads, and everything else, but these smaller things are usually funded by City Council, and we were very fortunate to get funding from Councilmember Gail Brewer this year.
So City Parks Foundation runs 4 different programs all over the city. We work in all 5 boroughs. We reach 200,000 people. It would be virtually impossible for us to do all of our work with the city without help from someone like Nathan and the Cozen team. We're a small staff and a relatively small budget, so to help us negotiate all the intricacies of how City Council and the administration works is invaluable to us.
We're here at Asphalt Green, a nonprofit organization providing sports, fitness, and play for all New Yorkers right here on the Upper East Side. Asphalt Green works with the Cozen O'Connor team as their lobbyists to achieve specific goals.
To get more lifeguards in the city, to get more kids to swim, we need more pool space. And 1/3 of the pools in New York City schools do not work. They're not functional. They're out of commission. So Asphalt Green, on our own dollar, hired an architect to figure out what it would take to renovate a pool very near here in an underserved community that needs a pool. And we completed that plan, and we worked with Cozen as our thought partner in that to say, okay, now that you have this plan, work with City Council, work with the School Construction Authority, work with the DOA, work with local elected officials, and get this pool built so that we can get more kids to swim in our neighborhood.
I think of former Councilmember Adonis Rodriguez, who's now the DOT Commissioner. His kids learned how to swim here, and what was really great was he was the main sponsor of a piece of legislation to create the Mayor's Office of Sports, Recreation, and Wellness. And when he was writing that bill, he had Asphalt Green in mind as an organization that needs to be part of this brain trust.
And what is the benefit of working with a lobbyist for an organization like yours?
So for a New York institution like ours, nothing gets done without public-private partnerships, without the support of elected officials, City Hall, commissioners, and with a firm like Cozen, they help bridge the gap, they help build these relationships that really allow us to get the work done that we need.